Hey there, welcome to another episode of Blake's Everyday Podcast. Tonight I'm gonna probably keep it pretty short. It's kind of a late night tonight. I had to run to a couple of stores. We're kind of redoing my son's bedroom, so after work, I hung out with the kids, went out, jumped on the trampoline with them for a little bit, probably until like 8 o'clock. We ate dinner and then we went out there and kids played in the rain, hung out there till about 8 o'clock. Went to the store, didn't get which they didn't have what I needed at the first store, so I went to a second store, which I was going to Burlington first. So I was like, oh, maybe they got uh, TV mounts there because we're gonna have to move the TV in order to kind of rearrange the room because we're getting a bunk bed for my son Weston, and I was like, oh, I'll move the TV over here. That way we can position the bed over here and blah, 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 blah. But they didn't have a TV mount at Burlington. My wife wants to paint the room. So she had me pick up some paint samples from Lowe's. So I ran to Lowe's. By the way, all these stores close pretty quickly. So like Burlington, I don't know how late Burlington stays open, but I know that Lowe's closes at 9, and I left the house at 8:30, so I left Burlington pretty quickly, and then I went to Lowe's and got some paint samples, and then ran to Walmart to get the TV mount, which when you go to Walmart, you always end up with something else as well. Got some food and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I didn't get home till about 10 o'clock. Had to turn the game on, which was dumb of me. Carolina won, so they're up in the series against Montreal 3-1, which is awesome. There's only one reason why I would like for Montreal to move on to the next level, and that's just because they beat us. But at the same time, I don't want Canada to have the Stanley Cup ever. Not to be rude, but they're especially I don't like Montreal, and just don't like Montreal. I'll just leave it at that. Especially after our series. Kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. It stinks because I think this is our 100th episode of Blake's Everyday Podcast, and I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. But yeah, I threw on that game, watched the game. I doctored the food that I'm going to be smoking tomorrow. I got some beef ribs. So parents are coming over. They're leaving for a few months on Friday. So wanted to make sure that I made something really spectacular. Get what I'm saying. Nothing better than some beef ribs. I almost like beef ribs more than I like. I'd say I like beef ribs more than I like brisket. I'd actually even say that I might even like beef ribs more than I like ribeye steak. And I'm not talking about like those dino ribs. I wish I could afford dino ribs. I'm talking about the ribs, even just at Walmart. Those just short ribs, which I smoke them like dino ribs. They're really good. They're really really good. But last night we finished at 1 Samuel chapter 7. Tonight we started at 1 Samuel chapter 8. I'm not sure how far we're going to get. Wish I could say that we're going to make it far, but I do not think we will. I just genuinely do not. I'm just so dang tired, and I really. Ooh, yeah. All right. So here's the plan. It's gonna be a short video. Hear me out. But chapter 9, the reason for it, and I'm using this as an excuse, but the reason for it is that chapter 10 rolls on through to chapter 11. So, I don't know. We could do it, but we'll see. I mean, we could get it done. I don't see why we couldn't. I mean, other than the fact that I want it to be a short video. I mean, that's what I'm acting like. I mean, but no, we might see how it goes. Once we get through 8 through 9, we'll make our decision from there. If we do continue reading, I'll basically just read all the way through and then read the descriptions after. But chapter 8's title is Israel asks for a king. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel's leaders. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abijah. And they served at Beersheba. But his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have. But when they said, Give us a king to lead us, this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord. And the Lord told him, Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights. Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, This is what the king who will reign over you will claim as his rights. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses, and they will run in front of his chariots. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands and commanders of 50s, and others to plow his ground and reap his harvest. and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his attendants. He will take a tenth of your grain and of your of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants, your male and female servants, and the best of your cattle and donkeys he will take for his own use. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen. But the Lord will not answer you in that day. But the people refused to listen to Samuel. No, they said, we want a king over us. Then we will be like all the other nations, with a king to lead us and go out before us and fight our battles. When Samuel heard all that the people said, he repeated it before the Lord. The Lord answered, listen to them and give them a king. Then Samuel said to the Israelites, everyone go back to your own town. All right, so that was chapter 8. We are definitely reading more into this because how can we not? So chapter 8, verses 3 through 5. Not unlike the sons of Eli, Samuel's sons also failed to set boundaries on their behavior. They were greedy for money, taking bribes and perverting justice, actions for which they were held accountable. Their disobedience surely embarrassed their father, but also prompted a national outcry for a governmental change. Because of failure in the leadership, the people rejected God's rule, though the judges and demanded to have all the surrounding nations had, a king. One wonders what might have happened if Samuel's sons had acted more responsibly. It is clear that God will not allow sin to continue unpunished, especially among those he has put in positions of leadership. Chapter 8, verses 18 through 20. The Israelites refused to listen to Samuel's God-given advice and soon were saddled with a less than satisfactory ruler, Saul. Wanting to be like the other nations, they clamored for a king and found out the hard way that what they wanted wasn't necessarily what they needed. God's dealings with his people suggest two lessons. First, we undermine our spiritual growth whenever we reject wise counsel. Second, the constant pressure to be like everybody else makes it difficult to gain freedom and experience God's will for our lives. There we go. God may even allow us to have our own way in a situation so he can show us the ultimate folly of it. All right, now, since chapter 10 continues on to chapter 11, we're going to read right through chapter 10, all the way through chapter 11. And we're going to end at chapter 12, at the beginning of chapter 12, and then that'll be the video. That'll be the video, unless we decide. No, we're probably going to call it at that point. So chapter 9's title is Samuel Anoints Saul. Which, by the way, if anybody has any recognition with the Bible, Saul's a bad dude, especially in the first part, basically. But he turns out to be a good guy, I think, if I remember right, but he changes his name. So, chapter 9, Samuel anoints Saul. There was a Benjamite, a man of standing, whose name was Kish, son of Abel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bachareth, the son of Aphiah of Benjamin. Kish had a son named Saul, as handsome a young man as could be found anywhere in Israel, and he was a head taller than anyone else. Now the donkeys belonging to Saul's father, Kish, were lost. And Kish said to his son Saul, "Take one of the servants with you and go and look for the donkeys." So he passed through the hill country of Ephraim and through the area around Shalisha, but they did not find them. They went on into the district of Shalem, but the donkeys were not there. Then he passed through the territory of Benjamin, but they did not find them. When they reached the district of Zuph, Saul said to the servant who was with him, "Come, let's go back, for my father will stop thinking about the donkeys and start worrying about us." But the servant replied, "Look, in this town there is a man of God. He is highly respected, and everything he says comes true. Let's go there now. Perhaps he will tell us what way to take." Saul said to his servant, "If we go, what can we give the man? The food in our sacks is gone. We have no gift to take to the man of God. What do we have?" The servant answered him again, "Look," he said, "I have a quarter of a shekel of silver. I will give it to the man of God so that he will tell us what way to take." Formerly in Israel, if someone went to inquire of God, they would say, "Come, let us go to the seer," because the prophet of today used to be called a seer. "Good," Saul said to his servant, "Come, let's go." So they set out for the town where the man of God was. As they were going up the hill to the town, they met some young woman coming out to draw water, and they asked them, "Is the seer here?" "He is," they answered. "He's ahead of you. Hurry now. He has just come to our town today, for the people have a sacrifice at the high place. As soon as you enter the town, you will find him. Before he goes up to the high place to eat, the people will not begin eating until he comes, because he must bless the sacrifice. Afterward, those who are invited will eat. Go up now. You should find him about this time." They went up to the town, and as they were entering it, there was Samuel coming toward them on his way up to the high place. Now the day before Saul came, the Lord had revealed this to Samuel. "About this time tomorrow, I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. Anoint him ruler of my people, Israel. He will deliver them from the hands of the Philistines. I have looked on my people, for their cry has reached me." When Samuel caught sight of Saul, the Lord said to him, "This is the man I spoke to you about. He will govern my people." Saul approached Samuel in the gateway and asked, "Would you please tell me where the seer's house is?" "I am the seer," Samuel replied. "Go up ahead of me to the high place, for today you are to eat with me, and in the morning I will send you on your way, and will tell you all that is in your heart. As for the donkeys you lost 3 days ago, do not worry about them. They have been found, and to whom is all the desire of Israel turned, if not to you and your whole family line?" Saul answered, But am I not a Benjamite, from the smallest tribe of Israel, and is not my clan the least of all the clans of the tribe of Benjamin? Why do you say such a thing to me?" Then Samuel brought Saul and his servant into the hall and seated them at the head of those who were invited, about 30 in number. Samuel said to the cook, "Bring the piece of meat I gave you." the one I told you to lay aside. So the cook took it up, the thigh, with what was on it, and set it in front of Saul. Samuel said, "Here is what has been kept for you. Eat, because it was set aside for you for this occasion from the time I said, I have invited guests." And Saul dined with Samuel that day. After they came down from the high place to the town, Samuel talked with Saul on the roof of his house. They rose about daybreak, and Samuel called to Saul on the roof, "Get ready, and I will send you on your way." When Saul got ready, he and Samuel went outside together. As they were going down to the edge of the town, Samuel said to Saul, "Tell the servant to go ahead of us." And the servant did so. "But you stay here for a while, so that I may give you a message from God." Then Samuel took a flask of olive oil and poured it on Saul's head and kissed him, saying, "Has not the Lord anointed you ruler over his inheritance? When you leave me today, you will meet two men near Rachel's tomb at Zelzah, on the border of Benjamin. They will say to you, 'The donkeys you set out to look for have been found.' And now your father has stopped thinking about them and is worried about you. He is asking, 'What shall I do about my son?' Then you will go on from there until you reach the great tree of Tabor. 3 men going up to worship God at Bethel will meet you there. One will be carrying 3 young goats, another 3 loaves of bread, and another a skin of wine. They will greet you and offer you 2 loaves of bread, which you will accept from them. After that you will go to Gibeah of God, where there is a Philistine outpost. As you approach the town, you will meet a procession of prophets coming down from the high place with lyres, timbrels, pipes, and harps being played before them, and they will be prophesying. The Spirit of the Lord will come powerfully upon you, and you will prophesy with them, and you will be changed into a different person. Once these signs are fulfilled, do whatever your hand finds to do, for God is with you. Go down ahead of me to Gilgal. I will surely come down to you to sacrifice burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. But you must wait 7 days until I come to you and tell you what you are to do." As Saul turned to leave Samuel, God changed Saul's heart, and all these signs were fulfilled that day. When he and his servant arrived at Gibeah, a procession of prophets met him. The Spirit of God came powerfully upon him, and he joined in their prophesying. When all those who had formerly known him saw him prophesying with the prophets, they asked each other, "What is this that happened? What is this that has happened to the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets?" A man who lived there answered, "And who is their father?" So it became a saying, "Is Saul also among the prophets?" Also, after Saul stopped prophesying, he went down to the high place. I don't know why I said he went down. He went to the high place. Now Saul's uncle asked him and his servant, "Where have you been?" "Looking for donkeys," he said. "But when we saw they were not to be found, we went to Samuel." Saul's uncle said, "Tell me what Samuel said to you." Saul replied, "He assured us that the donkeys had been found," but he did not tell his uncle what Samuel had said about the kingship. Samuel summoned the people of Israel to the Lord at Mizpah and said to them, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought Israel up out of Egypt, and I delivered you from the power of Egypt and all the kingdoms that oppressed you. But you have now rejected your God, who saves you out of all your disasters and calamities. And you have said, no, appoint a king over us. So now present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and clans." When Samuel had all Israel come forward by tribes, the tribe of Benjamin was taken by lot. Then he brought forward the tribe of Benjamin, clan by clan, and Matri's clan was taken. Finally, Saul, son of Kish, was taken. But when they looked for him, he was not to be found. So they inquired further of the Lord, "Has the man come here yet?" And the Lord said, "Yes. He has hidden himself among the supplies." They ran and brought him out, and as he stood among the people, he was a head taller than any of the others. Samuel said to all the people, "Do you see the man the Lord has chosen? There is no one like him among all the people." Then the people shouted, "Long live the king!" Samuel explained to the people the rights and duties of kingship. He wrote them down on a scroll and deposited it before the Lord. Then Samuel dismissed the people to go to their own homes. Saul also went to his home in Gibeah, accompanied by valiant men whose hearts God had touched. But some scoundrels said, "How can this fellow save us?" They despised him and brought him no gifts, but Saul kept silent. Now, all right, so we got chapter 9 and chapter 10 descriptions to read. I'm pretty sure it's the same Saul, so I don't want to speak too much. Chapter 9, verse 2. Saul was certainly a man of impressive physical attributes, but in his case, his gifts became detrimental rather than helpful. Sometimes people gifted with beauty, intelligence, size, or strength fall into the trap of self-sufficiency. They begin to think that they can go it alone. This attitude only stands in the way of achieving God's success. Our pride and notions of personal potential may prevent us from ever becoming humble enough to admit that we have needs. Saul looked good on paper, but he allowed his strengths to stand in the way of his only means of success, God's help. We must be careful to avoid this pitfall. Absolutely. Chapter 9, verses 14 through 17. Notice that Samuel approached at the very moment Saul entered the town. This should remind us of how perfect God's timing is in the events of our own lives. He often leads us to meet people of experience, events that direct our course his way. If we see this to be true as we look back on our lives, we should take the time to thank God for his direction. Wow. That's a really heavy description to me right now. But I'll continue reading. Chapter 10, verse 1. As Samuel anointed Saul to be king over Israel, he was also bearing his personal dreams. Samuel was the last of the judges. His sons would never share his honor. But despite his disappointment, Samuel found the courage to follow God's will instead of his own. He was willing to change and even to assist in the process of helping Saul become king over Israel. Assisting others on their way to spiritual renewal sometimes means we must give up some personal dreams of our own. But if we are following God's will, helping others will turn out to be the surest way to discover a new life for ourselves. Man. You know, right now, I'm just, I've been reading now every night to this YouTube channel. I was reading a little bit before, but I've been reading now the Bible to this YouTube channel for 100 videos. And I've had this feeling of, wanting to evangelize, and talk to strangers about God and try to spread the word. And I just had this feeling, man. And I just keep on chickening out, I will say. There's been so many opportunities. I mean, even just tonight, no kids in the car, so no problem there. I could have literally, there was this homeless guy, could have said, hey, would you like a ride? And then just spoke to him the gospel, a little bit. But I didn't. And I feel guilty about it because it's like, when I get that feeling, I know that that's probably God trying to tell me, hey, you need to talk to, so that guy needs somebody, to talk to. And I don't know. I need to get better about it. I want to do it. And I'm going to do it. I just got to put my foot down and really just start doing it whenever I just feel it, But also, that description of chapter 9, it hit me hard because, I'm going through a situation where my good friend, he's become a pastor, and, his wife talks to my wife. They're constantly talking about it, wanting us over there. And, I'm just, in my head, I'm like, I just don't think it's the right time. But, maybe the Lord's sending him messages to talk to me. Maybe he's recognizing it and I'm just not, So there's a lot to take there. Who knows? Timing's got to be right, and I'm sure whatever God has planned for me will come into fruition. Especially as long as I follow it out. Where he wants me to go, That's gross. I just found a big old ball of hair. It's nasty. Like, how did this even end up in my garage? It's gross. But let's go ahead and say a prayer. Dear God, we just come to you tonight just so grateful and so appreciative over this opportunity to read your word again tonight, Lord. We just pray for another night. We just pray for a good Thursday, Lord, and we just can't be thankful enough for the safety that you've gifted us, Lord. And we're so grateful for you keeping safety over us and keeping your hands over us, Lord. And we're so grateful for our health and our kids' health and our wife's health, our significant other's health. Lord, we just pray that you continue to watch over us all as we continue to walk down your path, Lord. And we just want to continue to learn and worship you, Lord, and just gain knowledge and learn how to evangelize and really start talking about your word, Lord, to even strangers. Lord, I just pray that if there's a sign that you can just give me it so I can follow your ways, Lord. And I pray that I am able to see and fulfill what you have planned for me, Lord. In God's name, amen. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Tomorrow's Thursday. We will start back off at chapter 11. So, have a great night.